We're back with Alden Chodash of AldenBoxing.com. This past weekend, Alden, no big fights, but a couple of interesting matchups. T.J. Wilson facing Travis Walker on Showbox. All 15 seconds of it. What do you think of it?
It's the kind of fight that you can't make any opinions on any of those fighters based on the 15 seconds. I mean, you can't really discount Travis Walker from the rest of the young heavyweight prospects. I mean, he just never got a chance to get going, and he got caught by a good shot. T.J. Wilson got lucky with that good shot, and he never did anything previous to the Travis Walker fight, and I think Walker would have beaten Wilson had it have gone longer. It's the kind of fight that's it was a crowd-pleasing knockout on TV, and it was not a premature stoppage, but it was a terrible fight in terms of what these fighters are going to do in the future of their careers and how should we look at these fighters differently.
Didn't seem like the crowd was too pleased by the quick stoppage, though. I'm sure they wanted it to go further with these two big heavyweights. Do you think either one of them have a future?
Going into the fight, both fighters were interesting prospects. Travis Walker, obviously the higher advancing prospect, but I didn't expect too much from either guy.
Okay. And Vic Darchinyan was in action, and he scored a late stoppage in his first appearance since the devastating loss to Nonito Donaire. Vic Darchinyan, what's your impressions of him?
He was facing a guy who lost 13 times previous, 7 by way of knockout. He got the job done by way of knockout, took him 12 rounds, and reportedly he suffered some adversity into the bout, so go figure. I think the knockout loss to Donaire did a lot more than just inflict the first loss to Vic Darchinyan.
So you think he's suffering some psychological effects as well?
Yeah, but it's up for grabs. I think I'd like to see him against a top-class fighter again. He's probably going to fight to the level of his opposition, and we're going to really see how much left he has.
Do you think now would be even still an interesting matchup between him and Rau'shee, considering both of them have been struggling somewhat lately?
Yeah, I mean, they're both terrible defensive fighters, but their offense is what made them popular and what still continues to make them popular fighters. They're both punchers. They both have a puncher's chance. Be a very fun fight to watch, and I'd love to see it come off early next year, possibly even late this year.
Okay. In November, some fights that are on the immediate horizon. November 2nd, Qasim Uma taking on Saul Roman, who's been stopped in his last 2 outings. You think Qasim Uma can get back on track and be a major factor again?
I think he still is a major factor in the junior middleweight division. I mean, he's done nothing to diminish the fact that he is one of the premier junior middleweights in the world. I mean, losing to Jermaine Taylor and even being competitive with the bigger man, if anything, should increase his persona, and he's still one of the best in the junior middleweight division, and he's much better than the majority of the alphabet title holders in the division so far.
Okay, we touched on this a couple of weeks ago, but once again, can you reiterate your feelings on the Juan Manuel Marquez, Rocky Juarez? Who do you like in that fight?
I like Marquez. He's the more professional fighter, and he's more experienced, and he should win a decision.
Okay. And, of course, the rumblings are that if he does win a decision, Manny Pacquiao's next on his plate. What are your feelings of Pacquiao-Marquez 2? Briefly, what do you think will happen this time around?
I think Pacquiao's going to win. It's the same fight as their first encounter. I mean, neither fighter has diminished since then, and their styles really play very well against each other. But I thought Pacquiao should have got the nod in the first fight, and I think he will in this bout.
Okay. Later in November, on the undercard of the Hasim Rahman fight, will be Yuri Foreman. And what do you think of that youngster?
He applies a lot of pressure. He could have very well been suffering his first defeat in his last bout. He applies a lot of pressure. He's not the most exciting fighter. He's a professional with a little experience that he has, and he's by no means a puncher at all, so he's not going to be the kind of prospect that people must see. But I'd like to see him advance, though.
Okay. Changing subjects just briefly, I know that you were watching old film footage of Salvador Sanchez taking on Danny Little Red Lopez. How good was Salvador Sanchez, in your opinion?
I mean, I know that people may disagree, but he was not a puncher. Danny Lopez hit the canvas a lot in previous fights before Salvador Sanchez. He hit the canvas early and came back to knock his opponents out. All the tremendous shots that Salvador Sanchez cracked off of Danny Lopez's noggin, he never hurt Danny Lopez. I mean, he stunned him a few times, but he never had him on the verge of going down. In the second fight, that may have been a different situation, but he took a lot of shots from Salvador Sanchez, and he didn't wobble at all. So Salvador Sanchez is not a great puncher, but he's a great all-around fighter. He has a tremendous arsenal of punches, and he never really wears down.
Do you consider him one of the all-time greats in his division?
In his division, yes. In Mexican history, he's also one of the all-time greats.
Okay. Recently announced on the undercard of the Tito Trinidad-Roy Jones Jr. fight, that's in January of next year, it's Thomas Adamek taking on Steve Cunningham. What's your initial reaction to that fight?
Steve Cunningham is a very slick boxer. He's unorthodox. He's tall. He's no power. I'm not even sure if he clenches his fist, but he's very fun to watch how slick and hard to hit he really is. And Adamek is a total 180 of what Cunningham is right now. He's a hard fighter. He's a good puncher. He comes right forward without defending himself very well. He has a puncher's chance against Cunningham as he did against Chad Dawson and many other top fighters, and he's definitely going to withstand anything that Cunningham throws at him, and it's going to be interesting to see how Cunningham reacts to yet another tough veteran.
Who do you give the edge to initially?
Cunningham.
Cunningham, but looks like it's going to go the distance though.
Yeah, it's going to go the distance. It's going to be a tough fight as well.
Okay. We've talked about this possible matchup in the past, and now it's official. Kelly Pavlik will be facing John Duddy in Atlantic City in the end of January. Do you still feel that Pavlik's a no loser in this fight?
Yeah, he is. There's no chance of a loss for Kelly Pavlik. John Duddy, plain and simple, is not ready for this fight. He has fought no one to prepare him for this fight, and his toughest outing was against Yuri Boy Campus, a 100-plus fight veteran who's diminished in skill and technique long before he stepped into the ring for John Duddy, and he hurt Duddy badly in the 12th round, which is a real knock to Duddy's chin or maybe his stamina.
Right. So you see Pavlik stopping this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Middle rounds. I can't see it going that late.
Okay. And finally, regarding fights that are in the future, February 2nd, Madison Square Garden, Oleg Maskaev facing Sam Peter. Of course, right now we don't know health-wise if Maskaev is going to be 100%, but let's just assume that they're both in tip-top shape. Maskaev, Peter, who do you think wins that fight?
I still think Peter, regardless of everything that happened to Peter against Jamil McCline. Maskaev is definitely not the puncher that Jamil McCline is, but although he has greater conditioning and is the all-around better fighter, him and McCline, Samuel Peter is a great all-around boxer, and besides the win over Hasim Rahman, Maskaev he's fought no one really except for Hasim Rahman, who we saw against Torres Sykes is much diminished, and Maskaev really is nothing more than just a journeyman fighter that's determined. He's reached the peak, but his peak is definitely nowhere near Samuel Peter's peak, which he is at right now.
Okay, so you see Peter winning that fight easily.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, amateur boxing. Next year, of course, the Beijing Olympics. And who do you think people should be looking out for on the U.S. Olympic team?
Rau'shee Warren, Luis Yanez are, in my eyes, likely gold medalists at the Beijing Olympics. It's been a rare situation that more than one fighter has become an Olympic gold medalist in recent U.S. Olympic history. I mean, U.S. boxing, I mean, in 2000 they went without a gold medalist, and in 96 and 04 they only had one gold medalist. But I think this is an exceptional Olympic team with Luis Yanez and Rau'shee Warren. The rest of the team is also exceptional fighters, but I think Yanez and Warren are tremendous fighters. Great speed, great southpaws, and they have a great future as a pro. And I think they're going to also win the World Championships in Chicago later this year. That's going to qualify them for the Beijing Olympics.
Okay, so Rau'shee Warren, Luis Yanez, those are the guys to look out for on the Olympic team in 08.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, great. Thanks, Alden, for talking to us. And remember to check out aldenboxing.com for more information. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.